meeting to order. Please join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Mr. Howard, would you please call the roll?
Mr. Amiditz?
Here.
Mrs. Buckley?
Here.
Dr. Campbell?
Present.
Mrs. Cook?
Here.
Mrs. Dovis?
Here.
Mr. Means? Mrs. Rule?
Here.
Mr. Schubel?
Present.
Mr. Spacuzza?
Present.
We have all 9 members here this evening.
Thank you, sir. I'm going to go a little out of order on the presentations. We will be accepting the audit report during our meeting this evening, and we have asked our auditor, Cipher and Cipher, to give a little presentation, and we'll have them go first up here at the microphone.
Thank you very much. Good evening, everyone. I'm Stephen Cipher. I'm a partner of Cipher and Cipher, and our firm is the district's auditors. I have with me Dave Carmichael, who is a Bethel Park resident. So what we're here to do is talk to you a bit about the audit. In this case, it's the 1213 audit. And what we'll do is start with the next page. The annual audit is required by the Pennsylvania School Code and state and federal law. Our job is to work for the board and for the public. And the conclusion of all audits is that you get an opinion from us telling you whether the financial statements of the district represent where you were June 30th and how you got there. Our opinion this year was unmodified. It's exactly what the board would expect to see. It's exactly what the public would expect to see. Anything less than that is pretty much a catastrophe for any organization. The general fund this past year brought in revenues of some $73.8 million. The local share, which is your taxes, both real estate and wage tax, $56,275,000. The state chipped in with $17.2 million, and the federal revenues here are very small, $331,000. When we take a look at the expenditure side of the equation, we spent about $67.7 million. The largest part of what we spend money on is instruction, as it should be, $38.9 million. Support, $20,119,000, and non-instructional, and this is student activities, so on and so forth, $1,522,000. Capital outlay, very small in the general fund because we have capital funds that spend most of that. But we have debt service, and this is principal and interest on the bonds that we have, of $6.9 million, bringing the total to $67.7 million. Our fund balance went up this year by $311,000. We have transfers to other funds totaling some $780,000, and that was to the Capital Reserve Fund, recognizing that the board believes that we'll have capital expenditure needs in the future, and we put that aside as a savings. We don't have to go back too far to recognize that financially the district was in trouble, and as you can see, there was a negative fund balance several years ago approaching $2 million. What I like to point out to the public and to the board is how stable the fund balance has been over the past 5 years. This is exactly the picture that you want to see. Shows that your management is doing what they're supposed to do, and the board is watching the finances as they would be expected to do as well. There is an existence problem for school districts. We have a governor that's fairly well committed to halving the number of schools in the state. There's 500 and 490 some school districts. By this time in 2020, there'll probably be 250. One of the things that, and these are the challenges that are facing you, costs related to your expired contracts, those have since been settled, since the audit. Health insurance rates are expected to go up by 7%, $600,000, and that's even an unknown because we're not sure yet how the Affordable Care Act will ultimately impact what we do here. When we take a look at state funding decreases, they've been on the move down. There's no sense from the legislature or the governor's office that this will change anytime soon. Uncertainty regarding federal funding in the coming years. We're down to $331,000. We do get some money from the cafeteria in the form of the National School Lunch Program. But again, the sequester has affected what we receive, and Congress and the President's inability to get along put that additional funding, or the funding that we actually have, in jeopardy. One of the worst things facing all school districts is the current crisis with the PSER. You have two consecutive administrations, Ridge and Rendell, which showed the balance, the budget of the state on the backs of the teachers' contracts, the teachers' retirement system. And what we're looking at is rates, and we'll show you a graph of that in a few seconds, but 10% this year, or an additional $3 million annually for the next 5 years. This is devastating to most districts. Luckily enough, we are able to withstand it so far. I'd like to go to the next page here. Construction funds, we have about $3.8 million. That represents money left over from the 2009 bond issue that was used for the high school construction, and is going to be used for the Neil Armstrong Middle School renovation. We have another $7.3 million committed in the Capital Reserve Fund for future renovations and for unforeseen issues. And if we go to the next page, this is the illustration of the contribution rates that we're talking about. And it's a little hard to read, but what we're seeing here is rates that are going to approach 30%. So that means every dollar that we pay out in salary, 30% has to go just in an attempt to get the teachers' retirement system back to normal. And it's not the district's fault. Other people had a say in this, and it certainly didn't help that we had a stock market crash in 2008. But the point is, the challenges facing the board are many. What we would like to comment on is the excellence of the administration. They do exactly what they're supposed to do. There are no findings. There are no internal control weaknesses. And I think the public should be very pleased with that. Lastly, members of the board, we thank you. I appreciate the opportunity to be your auditor. If anybody has questions, we'll be happy to answer those, but thank you all very much.
Thank you very much. Any questions from the board? Okay, thank you so much. We have several other presentations to begin our meeting this evening. At this time, I would like to introduce Bethel Park's representative to Allegheny County Council, Sue Means, who would like to make a special presentation on behalf of Allegheny County. Sue, the mic is yours.
Do you think Shirley should come too? Shirley, should? It is an honor this evening to be here and present a proclamation of achievement from Allegheny County Council to the Honorable Dick Rose. Superintendents may come and go, but Dick Rose was here. I consider Dick the rock who provided continuity and stability over 32 years. He holds the record for being the longest-serving school director in Bethel Park history at 32 years. He served with 52 other school directors. I think his wife deserves an award this evening. This is a proclamation from Allegheny County Council. Whereas Allegheny County is blessed with individuals dedicated to enhancing the quality of life in our neighborhood and the community as a whole. Individuals such as the Honorable Dick Rose, Richard Dick Rose, who has placed his stamp of character and hard work throughout the community as both a public servant and a strong leader. Whereas because of his leadership, confidence, and community presence, Dick Rose was elected to serve on the Bethel Park School Board in 1981. Where were you in 1981? In December 2013, Mr. Rose retired after 32 years of dedicated service to the Bethel Park School Board. And whereas during his tenure, Director Rose served several terms as president and as vice president of the school board. He also served as a district's representative to the Pennsylvania School Board Association, and in 1995, he had the distinction of serving as president of that association. Whereas Mr. Rose has dedicated his life to public service through the many boards that he has served on, including as trustee for the Allegheny County Schools Health Insurance Consortium, as the president of the Allegheny Head Start governing body, and as a member of that body from 2002 to 2012, as a member of the Allegheny Intermediate Unit Board of Directors from 1983 to 2012, as the president of that board from 1999 to 2001, and as a vice president for 3 years. Most recently, from 2008 to 2009, as a member of the Achieving Student Success Through Excellent Teaching Board, as a member of the Pathfinder School Board, and as a trustee for the Pennsylvania School Employees Retirement System Board. Is that all? Whereas Mr. Rose, who retired from PPG in 1995 and has been married to his wife Shirley for 60 years, will spend its, what? Almost. Is that in jeopardy? Now, therefore, let it be resolved that Allegheny County Council, on behalf of the citizens of Allegheny County, thereby recognize and thanks the Honorable Dick Rose for his contributions to the Bethel Park School Board, to the Bethel Park School District, the community. Mr. Rose acted always in the best interest of his constituents. We thank him for his 32 years of faithful service. This is sponsored by Councilmember Sue Means and presented on this, the 25th day of February 2014. Congratulations.
Thank you. Very briefly, you've got a long meeting ahead of you, a lot of presentations. And congratulations to all those others that will be receiving recognition tonight. It was a pleasure. All 32 years of it was a pleasure. There were times when that may be up and down, but when you see the results of the audit and what this board has done, it was a privilege for me just to be a part of that. Thank you for all you do. You all deserve the same recognition. And thanks, Anna. It's been a great 60 years.
Just to clarify, Mrs. Rose, from what I understand, the secret to longevity in a marriage is that the husband's never home. Is that correct? Just checking.
He's still on a few boards.
Thank you. Thank you both.
Yes, thank you both. Tonight, we welcome several representatives from the Bethel Park American Legion Post 760 to our meeting for a special presentation. Joining us are John Normile, Commander of Post 760, John Dunbar, Post 760 School Liaison, Dawn Weiss, Commander of the Sons of the American Legion Post 760, Bonnie Wilson, President of the Legion's Ladies Auxiliary, Janet Normile, Vice President of the Ladies Auxiliary, and Mike Shea, Post 760 Finance Officer. These folks were invited to attend this meeting by Independence Middle School 7th grader Antonio Fontana, who has something very special to present to our local American Legion, but I will let him tell you the details. At this time, I would ask Antonio and our special guests from the American Legion to come forward.
Hi everyone, my name is Antonio Fontana and I'm a 7th grade student at IMS Middle School. I'm in the enrichment program at school, and one of our projects was to create a poster using Photoshop, and we could pick any topic or word, and so I picked the theme of liberty. I chose this theme to honor our country, and because I feel that people nowadays take our military and veterans for granted, and they don't understand how amazing it is what they've done for us. I chose the images on this poster, like, you know, the bald eagle, the Liberty Bell, because they all represent freedom in America. My poster right now is being sent to deployed troops overseas, VFWs, and even Washington, D.C. My social studies teacher, Mrs. Makel, has a program called the Bring a Smile to the Service program, and she's, you know, been a really big help getting recognition for this poster. I wanted to present this poster to the American Legion and everyone here as a thank you for your service and for keeping us safe. So thank you, and thank you to the school board for letting me present this poster.
Great job.
Thank you so much. You know how much this means to us, really. We'll find a place for that. It'll be on our website. You'll be on our website.
Very quickly, just a couple words. I know you guys have a big meeting. I don't want to keep you very long. We spearheaded this project for the last 2 years. My board of officers and myself, and Commander Romao has been a huge backer, as well as the auxiliary. We all work together, hand in hand, for the veterans, and we, as the Sons of the American Legion, are promoters of the youth of our country. So this is a very big deal for us to have this presentation and to be able to be part of Bethel Park Schools at large. We thank you very much for everything you do for us. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
I just have one thing to add. Please, at least once a day or at least once a week, pray for our troops. God bless our troops. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir.
I'd just like to let the board know that Antonio's poster and a personal letter was directed to President Obama explaining the project and what it meant to Antonio, and I have to say that it moved me to tears, and I'm sure anybody else who read it probably had the same reaction. So we are so proud of you, Antonio. Thank you for sharing your gifts and your patriotism. Thank you.
Wonderful job. The Bethel Park School District has many excellent teachers, and it's my pleasure to introduce two of them to you this evening. Since 2007, the Bethel Park School District has had 3 finalists and 4 semifinalists for the Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year. This year, we are pleased to have 2 teachers recognized. One is a finalist and one is a semifinalist. For the 2nd consecutive year, Bethel Park High School physics teacher Clyde Kwalk was named one of 39 semifinalists for the 2014 Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year. And this year, Bethel Park High School English teacher Nicola Hipkins I know as Nikki better than Nicola, but I'll give you your formal name, was also one of the 12 finalists. In December, Mrs. Hipkins participated in the 2014 Pennsylvania Teacher of the Year ceremony in Hershey. And while she may not have won the title of Teacher of the Year, she is definitely a winner in our minds, and we could not be prouder of her accomplishment. We are extremely proud of Mr. Kwok as well, 2 years in a row, wow. And both of these teachers are continuing to grow a tradition here in Bethel Park. We have 2012 finalists, Bethel Park High School English teacher Christopher Jack, a co-teacher with Nikki Hipkins, I believe. 2010 semifinalist, William Penn fourth grade teacher Catherine Caston. 2009 finalist, Bethel Park High School English teacher, that English department gets good ratings, huh? Charles Youngs. And 2008 semifinalist, retired William Penn kindergarten teacher and current board member Cindy Buckley. Thank you both for the great work that you do in your classroom and for bringing such positive recognition to the Bethel Park School District. At this time, would you come forward? We have a little certificate we would like to present from the board. And please join with me in a round of applause for two great
Never put a microphone in front of me. I have to thank God. He's the reason that I was here. He's the reason that I was delivered to Bethel Park. I gave up my job as an engineer to become a teacher, and it's been the best decision he's ever made for me. I thank Bethel Park School Board for hiring me so many years ago, taking a chance on somebody you didn't even know if they could teach physics or not, and I really appreciate the opportunity they gave me. And I wouldn't have this opportunity if it wasn't for the students, a lot of who are here tonight to support me, and I really, really appreciate their activity in my classroom, their paralysis in physics, and their dedication. Thank you so very much.
I'm not as good on the fly, so it's short. I promise. I'm an English teacher.
She's an English teacher. She wrote hers down.
I did. I'm smart. Just thank you for honoring Clyde and I tonight. I've had the privilege of teaching several of your children over the years, Mrs. Buckley, Mrs. Dobas, and Mrs. Cook in particular. My experience with your children and the hundreds of others that I have coached and directed in musicals and taught in my classroom are truly the blessings of this job. My student presenter in Hershey, Alexandra Robert, she gave a heartwarming introduction of me on stage in front of a room full of people and cameras and Governor Corbett. She was poised and professional, and I am so honored to be her teacher. In one of my application essays, I discussed the importance of opening the door in education. Bethel Park administrators and the dedicated high school staff worked diligently to foster a sense of collaboration. My principal, Dr. Jan Sante's door is always open, even when he sees me coming. I'm blessed to have two prior nominees in my department, Charles Youngs and Chris Jack, and I am thankful for them on a daily basis. Clyde is a stellar teacher and a role model for our students, staff, and certainly myself. I'm constantly impressed by his work in and out of the classroom. Finally, everyone in this room has a vested interest in education. We just play different roles in the process. We are all working to create a challenging course of study with relevant work-based learning that showcases high expectations for all of our students. So we may as well do it together. Thanks again.
Thank you. Tonight, the board would like to present 3 books to Bethel Park School Libraries in memory of 3 individuals who were important to the Bethel Park School District family. Last month, Alex O'Rourke, the father of our Director of Secondary Education, Janet O'Rourke, passed away. Mr. O'Rourke was an engineer who worked for the Mine Safety and Health Administration and played a vital role in the ongoing safety of mining. Like his daughter, Mr. O'Rourke also had a great sense of humor, and he enjoyed a good joke. In his memory, and at the suggestion of Ms. O'Rourke, the board has purchased a copy of The Big Book of Laugh Out Loud Jokes for Kids by Rob Elliott, which will be placed in the Neil Armstrong Middle School Library, a place that is near and dear to Ms. O'Rourke's heart, as she began her career in Bethel Park as an assistant principal there before being promoted to the principal. Ms. O'Rourke, would you please join me at the podium?
Yeah. Yeah, sure.
My dad was a little bit of a stoic gentleman, an engineer by trade, as Mrs. Cook had said. But one of the uniquenesses about him is he couldn't wait monthly for the Reader's Digest to come in to read the joke section or the funny papers, even as his health started to fail and we would go and visit him daily, we would take out the funny papers of the newspaper, and that's what he continued to read up until his last day. So he was very proud of the education that we provide in Bethel Park. He was very proud of me and having the opportunity to work with such extraordinary people in Bethel Park. So I thank the board and all of the support that I've felt in the last month or so since my father's illness and passing. So thank you very much.
Thank you. And also last month, Brandon Womer, our Director of Facilities and Services, lost his father, David Womer. Mr. Womer was a man of many interests, including baseball, music, cars, and American history. It is our pleasure this evening to present a copy of Killing Lincoln by Bill O'Reilly to the Bethel Park High School Library in Mr. Womer's memory. Brandon, would you join me?
I'd just like to say thank you as well. This it's a very kind and thoughtful thing to do. My family really appreciates this. I told my mom that you were dedicating a book to the library, and she cried again. So she really appreciates this. So if you've ever lost anyone to cancer, you know what it's like watching that go on. It's a really helpful, it's a really helpless kind of a feeling, watching somebody you love go through that, but it's nice to know that you got the support of friends and family, and Bethel Park has just treated me like family, and I really appreciate it, so thank you.
Just move in. And now to our final book presentation this evening. On August 5th, the Bethel Park School District lost a great friend with the sudden passing of District Judge Robert C. Wida. Judge Wida, while not a school district employee, played a vital role in the success of our school district over the years on so many levels. As a district magistrate since 2000, Judge Wida adjudicated many cases involving Bethel Park students who were facing disciplinary action beyond what the school district could administer. And with every student who entered his courtroom, they were all equally treated with fairness and compassion. Judge Wida did not view those who appeared before him as people to be punished, but rather as people to be helped. He always went above and beyond the call of duty to make sure that not only did those students receive corrective discipline, but also he made sure those students and their families received the necessary help they needed to ensure they would not appear in his courtroom a second time. His reputation as a fair and decent judge was appreciated not only by those who were on the receiving end of his decisions, but also by this school district, because we knew Judge Wida was a true partner in our efforts to get the students who needed extra help back on the right path of life. Judge Wida would take it upon himself to regularly visit our schools, to proactively follow up with the students who appeared in his courtroom, checking to see if they needed additional assistance, and to be actively involved in their futures. He also visited our schools to meet with students who were headed down the wrong path, to talk to them, listen to them, and to provide some proactive, preventative advice to keeping them from appearing in his courtroom in the future. Judge Wida was born to a life of public service. Besides serving as an assistant district attorney and assistant court administrator, he was also a commander in the Navy Judge Advocate General's Corps. Since 2010, Commander Wida presided over the awarding of Bethel Park High School diplomas at our commencement ceremonies to our graduates who, like Commander Wida, were answering the call to serve their country. This past year, there was great joy on the commander's face when he had the honor of awarding an honorary diploma to a World War II veteran who left high school early to serve in World War II. And as a public servant, it wasn't unusual to see Judge Wida in our schools, speaking at assemblies and serving as the guest speaker for National Honor Society inductions, where he could easily provide the students with firsthand examples of the 4 pillars of NHS: scholarship, leadership, service, and character. He also had a few words to say about perseverance, which always amazed the students. Needless to say, the Bethel Park School District was a better place because of Judge Wida's involvement in it. Those who knew him, even for a moment, walked away from him feeling as if they had made a lifelong friend. We will always be grateful for his concern for our students and his willingness to give of his time and share his experiences in an effort to provide our students with a positive role model and a hope for a better future. We know that this is still a difficult time of loss for his family. His widow, Shannon, and their children, Jared and Rachel, were unable to be with us this evening. But we still wanted to publicly thank them for sharing their husband and father with us these past 13 years. We extend our continued sympathies to the Wida family for their irreplaceable loss. We will forever remember and appreciate all of the positive contributions that Judge Wida made to the Bethel Park School District. And tonight, the board would like to donate the book, The Real George Washington, The True Story of America's Most Indispensable Man, to the Bethel Park High School Library in memory of Judge Robert Wida, because in our eyes, like George Washington, Judge Wida was a great leader, role model, and definitely an indispensable man. Please continue to keep the Wida family in your prayers. Are there any additions or corrections to the agenda?
I have one under personnel, and that would be internships. Want me to read the whole? I'll read the whole addition here. Internships. The Board of School Directors approves the administration's recommendation to approve an agreement with Steel Center Area Vocational Technical School for paid and or unpaid internship programs with the district. The paid internships, if any, will be compensated for the 13-14 school year not to exceed $7,500.
And it's at a rate of $10 per hour, not to exceed, right?
Yes.
Are we still keeping the $10 per hour?
I thought you were capping it. Okay.
We're capping it, but at a rate of $10
Okay.
per hour, not to exceed. Okay. Any other additions or corrections to the agenda? I need a motion to adopt the agenda as corrected.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 9-0. I need a motion to approve the minutes of the regular meeting of January 28, 2014.
So moved.
All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? That motion carries 9-0. I need to announce executive sessions held February 5th, 2014 for personnel matters, February 18th, 2014 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information, and February 25th, 2014 for personnel, other legal matters, and to receive information. Staff report, and Ms. O'Rourke.
It is my pleasure this evening to share the following good news items with you. 9 Bethel Park High School students and 1 Independence Middle School student earned 7 first-place awards and 3 second-place awards at the Regional Pennsylvania Junior Academy of Science competition recently held at Duquesne University. Earning first-place awards were Bethel Park High School students Jack Brownfield, Jared Single, James Fleckenstein, Molly Graham, Sean McLean, Jessica Veman, and Independence Middle School 7th grader Emily Kauser. All of these students will now advance to the state PJAS competition, which will be held in May on the Penn State University main campus. Earning second-place awards were high school students Emily Augustine, Jeffrey Hoffman, and Christian Smintana. Congratulations to all of these students, and good luck to the first-place winners as they advance to states. When the board attends the Allegheny Intermediate Unit's annual board convention next month at the Rivers Club, please be on the lookout for artwork from 4 Bethel Park students that will be on display as part of a county-wide exhibit of outstanding student work. Congratulations to Bethel Park High School students Samantha Simpson and Brianna Mancini, Independence Middle School student Kayla Armstrong, and fourth grade Franklin student Anthony Saletti. For the first time in history, a group of Bethel Park High School students participated in the Allegheny County Mock Trial Competition representing Bethel Park. In this activity were Jamie Skavrak, Molly Graham, Sean Becker, Dominic Capozzoli, Billy DePudeloff, Rachel Dimmick, Natalie Lalama, Sean McLean, Max Reese, and Ryan Van Hornenbeck. The students lost both of the trials, but they argued and were very close to winning. Natalie Lalama was named the best advocate for the defense, and Max Reese was named best defense witness. Molly Graham was named best advocate for the plaintiff, and Jamie Kavrick was named best plaintiff witness. The students enjoyed participating in the event and are anxious to get back into the courtroom next year. Bethel Park High School seniors Shelby Miller and Clayton Meir have been selected to receive the Shasta Award for the South Hills Area School Districts Association. Every year, Shasta member high schools select 2 seniors who have overcome obstacles in their lives to experience success in school. After graduation, Shelby would like to attend an equestrian school in New York, and Clayton will be enlisting in the United States Army. We congratulate both of these students for their resilient spirits. 4 Bethel Park High School vocalists have been selected to perform in the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association's All-State Chorus next month at the PMEA State Conference in Hershey. Representing Bethel Park in the event will be Josh Como, Marie Dykstra, Michael Krut, and Joe Serafini. Congratulations to the students. 2 Bethel Park High School students received the Top of the Shop Award for the first semester of the 2013-14 school year from the Steele Center Area Vocational Technical School. Congratulations to Anthony Fluker and Jason Kennedy. These awards are given to these students who demonstrate outstanding conduct, attendance, coursework proficiency, and professionalism. 5 Bethel Park High School students who attend the Steele Center Area Vocational Technical School received the Extra Effort Award for the second quarter of the 2013-14 school year. Congratulations to Adam Goldberg, Robert Nestrick, Jeff Wagner, Sean Herron, and Matt Barnes. These awards are given to those students who demonstrate outstanding efforts in attendance, theory work, shop work, work ethic, and attitude. In other Steele City news, 3 Bethel Park High School students placed in the District Skills USA competition where they competed against students from other area vocational technical schools. Matt Dolovich earned first place in the computer maintenance competition and will compete in the State Skills USA competition. Michelle Braga finished in second place in electrical construction, and Jeff Wagner finished in second place in plumbing. Julia Sell finished in third place in the nail care competition. Congratulations to these students, and good luck to Matt as he moves on to the state competition. Students in the Bethel Park High School Drama Club, better known as the Shake-a-Leg Players, did a fantastic job creating and performing an entertaining assembly at Memorial Elementary School to kick off the school's Accelerated Reader program. Using the theme, Feed the Need to Read, the program was filled with skits, songs, and dances and had the Memorial students clapping, singing, and dancing as they saw some of their favorite book characters encourage them to read. The assembly was the idea of the Accelerated Reader Committee at Memorial and Bethel Park High School English teacher Chris Nagel. The assembly was so well received, the students are looking forward to returning to Memorial in the spring to see how the students are coming with their reading. The assembly is also in the process of being scheduled at other Bethel Park Elementary School, so stay tuned. The great presentation is coming in an elementary school near you. I would like to take this opportunity to recognize the high school counseling department and our technology department for working together to host the FAFSA night for approximately 30 Bethel Park High School families. At this program, representatives from the Pennsylvania Higher Education Assistance Agency came to the cafeteria to help families of college-bound seniors to fill out their free application for federal student aid, which will allow families to apply for grants and scholarships. The tech department provided laptops for the families to use that evening, as well as technical support to correctly enter the data from their W-2 forms and income statements into the online survey. This was the first time this workshop was offered to our families, and they greatly appreciated the assistance. A special thanks goes to Counselor Mike Bruce and Technology Coordinator Joe Rossi for the success of this evening, which we hope will become an annual event. Independence Middle School 8th grader Christopher Futrell is a building video game artist, and recently some of his drawings for a possible video game were selected to appear on video game developer Flipline Studios' Fun Art blog. Christopher is already thinking about his future as he combines his love of art and video games. Congratulations, Topher. Independence Middle School was one of 4 schools in Pennsylvania to participate in a pilot program to gauge student response to using technology devices to take statewide mandated tests. The tests were conducted by Data Recognition Corp., and the students used Bethel Park iPads with Bluetooth keyboards, which were provided by DRC to complete the test. Feedback from this pilot will provide DRC with valuable information regarding how well students might perform on state tests, such as the PSSAs, Keystones, and the Classroom Diagnostic Test. Thanks to our technology department and IMS principal David Minch for making this possible. Neil Armstrong Middle School 6th grader Sarah Gilliam approached gifted program coordinator Lisa Machado with an idea to share Black History Month facts with the entire school. Sarah asked for volunteers to help her, and 4 students stepped up to the plate. The students spent time researching famous African Americans and developing a concept for sharing what they learned. They decided to use the window panes in the front of their school to paint the story of African Americans throughout history. It was a great project, and the next time you visit Neil Armstrong, we encourage you to take some time to look at their work. Helping Sarah with this project were Roma Eisel, Lily Hunter, Caitlin Heater, and Carson Hellerman. 8 Neil Armstrong Middle School 6th grade musicians were selected to perform in the Pennsylvania Music Educators Association's District Band Concert, which will be held in May at Carlington High School. Congratulations to Sam Donaldson, Amy Carnos, Teresa Stolka, Caitlin Walhall, Ian Phelps, Ben Opie, Tyler Simpson, and Alex Sodini. The Rotary Club of Bethel Park generously sponsored the 2nd annual Bethel Park 3rd grade Spelling Bee, which was held a couple of weeks ago at Independence Middle School Auditorium. This year, 77 3rd graders competed for Toys R Us gift cards ranging from $150 for first place to $50 for third. It took 7 rounds to get to the final 25 spellers, and from that group, Memorial 3rd grader Samantha Wolf emerged as this year's spelling champion by correctly spelling Academy. William Penn 3rd grader Nora Bell finished in 2nd place, and Memorial 3rd grader Josh Feister emerged from a 7-student spell-off to finish in 3rd place. By winning the spelling bee, Samantha is now eligible to compete in the Rotary's newly formed District Spelling Bee, which will be held at Seven Springs in June, where the winner will receive a $1,000 U.S. savings bond. Congratulations to all of our spellers, and good luck to Samantha. A special thanks goes to Dr. Dee Stark, our Director of Elementary Education, who did a terrific job in working with the Rotary and coordinating all of the details on the district's end to make the bee a great success for our 3rd grade students. Every year, the members of the Bethel Park High School varsity ice hockey team donate their time to skate with a special group of students from Neil Armstrong Middle School and Washington Elementary School at Blade Runners. This year, students from William Penn joined the festivities as the hockey players skated the students around the ice and joined them for pizza party lunch. It's a great Bethel Park tradition, and we thank the hockey players for giving these students a huge thrill. Our fingers are crossed as Bethel Park High School is one of 12 finalists for the Masters Builders Association of Western Pennsylvania's Excellence Award. The winner will be announced at the Construction Industry Evening of Excellence, which will be held Thursday night at Heinz Field. We're extremely proud of our new high school, and it is an honor to have it recognized for construction excellence in the region. Bethel Park School Cafeterias recently earned 50 Diamond Awards from the Allegheny County Health Department during its latest round of inspections, bringing the district's total to 92 diamonds for the year when you combine the 42 awards earned during the fall inspections. Diamonds are the highest awards given by the Allegheny County Department of Health and are given only to those facilities that demonstrate exceptional sanitation and food handling practices. We commend Food Service Director Joe Consolmango and his staff throughout the district for their commitment to excellence. Kindergarten registration begins in the Bethel Park School District in March, and students who will be age 5 on or before September 1st, 2014 are eligible to begin kindergarten in the fall. Parents are asked to bring the completed kindergarten registration packet, their child's original birth certificate, proof of Bethel Park residency, and their child with them to registration. The registration packets are available on all of the elementary websites, or they can be picked up at any elementary school. We encourage all parents to register their children at this time to assist the district with planning for the 2014-15 school year. Parents who have questions can call any of our elementary schools. Bethel Park High School will stage Children of Eden as the 2014 musical Wednesday through Saturday, March 19th through the 22nd at 7:30 p.m. in the Bethel Park High School auditorium. Tickets will be on sale Monday, March 10th through Tuesday, March 18th, and depending on where you sit, tickets will either be $10 or $8. Senior citizens can receive half-price admission to the Wednesday and Thursday performances. Come out and enjoy another outstanding show performed by our talented high school students. And that concludes my report for this evening.
A very animated report, I might add. Thank you. Student government. Let's see if you guys can be animated tonight, right?
I don't want any high expectations. But I just wanted to talk about our community service project that we're doing this year. They're called Yuta bands, and I'm wearing one right now. They're bracelets, and they're made out of leather and coconut. They're handmade from Guatemala, and we concluded sales for these in the high school last week, and sales are going on until, I think, tomorrow at IMS. So what the whole deal is that for every 175 bands that we sell, we get to send a student in Guatemala to school for a year. So the Vice President Liam Wolf found this website when we were at our state conference in November, and he was really excited to bring it to the high school, and it got really well received. We sold, I think our final count for today was 503. So we need 22 more to have sponsored 3 children in Guatemala to go to school for a year. So it's a really good cause. If you guys have any questions, we still have some in the activities office, so if anyone wants to buy one, you can.
What's the cost?
They're $7 each. Yeah, so we've raised around a little over $3,500, which is amazing for student government. It's one of the coolest, I think, community service projects that we've had. And I hope it comes back in the future years. I hope it keeps going. So to go along with that, we had our Wish Week, which I'll let Harrison talk a little bit more about. He was the sponsor of that. So thank you.
Thank you.
Hi. Is this close enough? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So a couple weeks ago, we had this week called Wish Week, where we had a representative from Make-A-Wish. I'm sure you're all familiar with Make-A-Wish Foundation. Well, we had a representative come in from Make-A-Wish and have an assembly about the foundation and how we can raise money. So we had this cool idea to grant wishes during the week. a week before Wish Week actually started, we had boxes in the lunchroom and collected reasonable wishes that we could grant during school hours. One of the best wishes was Mr. Vic dressing up like a chicken all day. He wore a chicken mask, and that lasted all day. That was really funny. About yeah, about 40 of those type wishes were granted, and we collected money in homerooms. You didn't have to pay for the wishes, but we'd collect money, donations in homerooms. We had cans in each homeroom, and from that we collected a little over $700 for Make-A-Wish in just 1 week, so that was really good. Yeah, so that concludes the student government's report.
Thank you so much. You should have brought some of those bracelets so we could have bought them tonight. Now, where do we get them? They're at the high school. Oh, at IMS. They're at IMS. Okay. Okay, so we could give you money and you could bring it in. Okay, so
I
that's
would
great.
guess that some people would actually pay money to see Mr. Vic in a chicken.
Yeah, right.
So if you can get a picture.
Thanks. PTA, PTO Council.
Hi, my name's Lindy Novak. I'm from Abraham Lincoln Elementary School. I'm one of the co-presidents with April Flanagan. Thank you for having us here and being able to update on the PTO and PTAs in Bethel Park on the schools. I'm going to start where my heart is, Abraham Lincoln. They start the Lincoln Loggers, started walking during recess on Fridays, and with over 100 students already registered for this year's marathon, we have a lot more students, so they're really excited about it, getting that started. We have our Family Fun Night. It's scheduled for next Friday, March 6th, with a dodgeball theme for families, so the kids are excited about that as well. The students of Abraham Lincoln are busy preparing their science projects and artwork for our annual Science Fair and Art Expo taking place on March 13th. And the students have been collecting box tops and for the month of January, and they raised $321.40 so far for that month. Update on George Washington Elementary. The We Run Club is in full swing. The students began their weekly Wednesday running training on February 5th, which will continue until April and end with the Kids Steal Pittsburgh Marathon in May, and their annual trail run will be held in April. The Let's Hit a Home Run for Reading Accelerated Reading program has begun and has once again teamed up with Washington Wild Things Reading Club. Students who have met their accelerated reader grade level point goal by the end of the program will receive one complimentary reserved ticket on the Wednesday, June 11th Wild Things game. Washington Day was held on Monday, February 17th. The students dressed in red, white, and blue. All students received a special treat to help celebrate the day, and an assembly featuring Josh and Gab is scheduled for March 5th. Last week, the CLO came to perform their show, The Invention of Edison. Their health fair will be held on Tuesday, February 25th from 6 o'clock to 8 o'clock. There will be a scavenger hunt, door prizes, and vendors. Attendees will be able to play volleyball with the boys' high school team or check out a karate demonstration. The fourth graders will be having a movie night on March 7th, and their art science fair and ice cream social will be held on Friday, March 14th. Memorial Elementary. Memorial had a great readathon. Our kids read like crazy, trying to earn a breakfast with Mr. Chalice, and raised about $3,800 for the PTA. The kids are busy preparing for the talent show to be held in April. They're very proud of the third grader, Samantha Wolf, for finishing first in the Rotary Club Spelling Bee. And if I can just interject one little second. My daughter is in third grade, and April's son is in third grade, and they had the best time. My daughter Ava came home, it was so fun. So I just really want to thank Bethel Park for doing that for our students, because they had the best time. It was really fun. It was fun to see them practice and spell and just have a good time doing it. Okay, back to Memorial. Sorry about that. Tonight is actually the annual Science and Art Expo. They have over 80 kids participating, the biggest participation in a few years. The kids are reading like crazy for the Accelerated Reader program. They were inspired by the great assembly and the high school students put on for promoting the program. They have surpassed their initial goal set in just the first week and have set a new goal and are working hard to reach that. The students are trying new fruits and vegetables and are running with the Memorial Movers program, getting ready for the Kids Steal 1 mile run on May 3rd.
Ben Franklin's update. Ben Franklin is ready for spring. They have kicked off their spring fundraiser selling Sarah's Candy, and this is one of their biggest fundraisers that many people participate in and are looking forward to a great turnout. Their spring bingo is just around the corner, along with the warm weather, we hope. It is held on Friday, March 21st, and the 6th annual calendar party between Ben Franklin and William Penn was held this past weekend. It was a fun event for both schools that brought in over $10,000 between the two schools. A lot of people came out to support these great schools, and we thank them. We also had our science fair last week with over 40 participants. Students of every grade were there to do a poster or experiment related to science. It was a great evening had by all. William Penn's update. During February, William Penn had a great time celebrating Valentine's Day and the 100th day of school on the same day. William Penn had Java Joe's coffee fundraiser, which was successful, along with a super successful calendar party at the community center. The calendar party was a joint effort, again with Ben Franklin's PTO, and was a wonderful event. Students also had a great time at William Penn Science Fair and Art Show last week and were treated to a presentation by Mad Science at the event. We hope you're all keeping warm and think spring. Neil Armstrong Middle School is having a busy time. They finished their Battle of the Books contest. For those not familiar with this fun event, children sign up as teams at the beginning of the school year, and all of the teams are given several weeks to read the same books, are quizzed in a family, fun-filled environment, and the teams choose names and made their own costumes. It was a fun evening had by all. We had fun with candygrams for Valentine's Day, and students were able to buy candygrams and sell them or send them to all of their friends throughout the school. They also put together and delivered them to each student. We also sent each child a candygram from the PTO, and it was a wonderful surprise for all the students. We will begin our spring catalog fundraiser this week, and as always, Neil Armstrong holds the school store and popcorn sale every Friday. And lastly, IMS School Board meeting report. GOLD, the Girls Only Leadership Development, was held at IMS on Friday, February 7th. 112 8th grade girls participated in various sessions provided by the Bethel Park Police Department, local businesses, high school teacher Mrs. Thomas, and various high school students who participate in the TLC program. The 8th grade girls played games and enjoyed lots of snacks as they prepared to transition to the high school as 9th graders, and the evening closed with an annual dance in the cafeteria, and fun was had by all. The IMS PTO President, Heather Fontana, would sincerely like to thank Kelly Albenzi, Carolyn Hinson, Laura Gianmaria, and Laura Hoffman for all of their hard work and help throughout the evening. Also, a special thank you to Mr. Spolaris and Mr. Minch in helping to plan and prepare this event. Thank you.
Thank you. Great. Solicitor's report.
I have a written report that I will submit to the board.
Committee report. We had a
Yes.
committee
The
meeting, didn't we?
Facilities and
Yeah,
Services Committee
thanks.
met on February 5th. The main purpose of the meeting was to discuss the parking lot project at IMS. There was another committee meeting.
Policy, do we have an update on policy, anything?
Yeah, we also met in the same date, and we discussed several policies that are going to be published and are being brought up for the second reading tonight.
Okay. Public comments on agenda items. Any comments on agenda items this evening? Seeing none, we'll move into business items and curriculum committee. Mrs. Buckley.
Thank you, Mrs. Cook. There is one item this evening under curriculum, and it is school-sponsored overnight educational activity. I move for approval.
Second.
Item 1 under curriculum committee has been moved by Mrs. Buckley and seconded by Mr. Means. Any questions or comments on this item? All in favor say aye.
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 Opposed? That item carries 9-0. Personnel committee and Mrs. Rule.
Okay, there are 9 items under personnel. Are there any that anyone would like to have held out? If not, I move for item 1, approval of substitutes, 2, approval of extra duty responsibility program, 3, approval of leave of absence, 4, acceptance of a resignation, 5, attainment of status of professional employee, 6, approval of intern stipend, 7, appointment of personnel, and 8, internships, and 9, acceptance of a classified resignation.
Second.
Items 1 through 9 under personnel committee have been moved by Mrs. Rule and seconded by Mr. Spacuzza. Any questions or comments on any of these items?
Mrs. Cook, I'd like the record to reflect that I'll be abstaining on number 5, please.
Thank you. Any other questions or comments on any of these items? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? And let the record show that Mrs. Buckley is abstaining on number 5. Those motions carry 9-0. Facilities and Services Committee, and Mr. Spacuzza.
There's one item under Facility and Services this evening, the Independence Middle School parking lot renovation project. This is a project, this is for the design, correct? This is the design portion of this. And the lump sum fees of these services will be $75,000. The funds are in the capital reserve fund account. I move that following that item.
Second.
Item 1 under Facilities and Services Committee has been moved by Mr. Spacuzza and seconded by Mr. Means. Any discussion on this item? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That item carries 9-0. Finance Committee and Dr. Campbell.
Thank you, Madam President. There are 8 items from the Finance Committee. Would anybody like any of these items held out?
I'd like number 3 held out.
Number 3 will be held out for further discussion. Then, any other items held out by the board? Seeing none, then I move that the board approve and adopt the following items from the Finance Committee. Number 1, February 2014 salaries and bills. Number 2, January 2014 financial report. Number 4, acceptance of the audit report for the year ending June 30th, 2013. Number 5, approval of the student services contract. Number 6, information technologies 2014-2015 service and maintenance contracts, the E-rate. Number 7, purchase of the school messenger notification services. Number 8, AIU joint purchasing board.
Second.
Items 1 and 2 and 4 through 8 under Finance Committee have been moved by Dr. Campbell and seconded by Mr. Means. Any discussion on these items? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those items carry 9-0. Dr. Campbell.
I move that item 1 be approved for adoption, budgetary transfers.
Item 3, that is.
Item 3, sorry about that.
That's okay.
Second.
Item 3 has been moved by Dr. Campbell and seconded by Mr. Spacuzza. Any discussion of this item?
I would like to ask a question about the $250,000 that is being transferred into educational software. It is on page, I guess there's not pages. It starts under account name, regular instruction. It's the bottom of page 2 and continues on to page 3.
Ms. O'Rourke? Yep. The transfer of that is basically to put the money in the correct line items as we look forward to the remainder of the school year. So there was the budget line items for the central office for the secondary director of ed was all in a educational software line item. I broke that out now to include the new book adoption that may take place, may or may not take place, for the committees that are currently underway as far as business, tech ed, and foreign language are the committees that are currently working, as well as some of the things that we're doing to make sure that we're aligned with a common core. So all of the money in that particular budget category was all under one line item. I just am spreading it out so as we make purchases, they're coming out of the appropriate lines. So that's what, it's not a increase of money or a decrease of money. It was just putting the money in the correct line item for future purchases.
So it's moving out of book adoption into educational software?
No, it was moving out of educational software into book adoption, correct. And you may see more of those because I was estimating, so we may see some other transfers that take place as the teachers come back and make recommendations. But I was just trying to clear those up as I was noticing that there were things that weren't necessarily in the right line item.
Any other questions or comments on item number 3 under Finance Committee? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? That item carries 9-0. Mr. Means, we have some second readings for you to list for us.
Yes, I would like to announce the second of three readings for the approval of policies. Number 204.2, truancy. Number 800, records management. 800, records management, there's an attachment. 800 AR-1, electronic records management. And 800, records management, attachment. 800 AR-2, records retention schedule. I'd also like to announce the second of three readings for policy revisions. Policy number 204, attendance. 210, administrative guidelines, medication administration on field trips. Number 216, student records. Number 216, student records, attachment 216, AR1, student records management. Number 220, student expression / distribution and posting materials. Number 222, tobacco. Number 241, field trips. Number 241.1, overnight trips. And 801, public records.
Thank you, and all of this is contained on our website as well. Mr. Amadis, would you take other for me this evening?
Yes, I will. We have 3 items listed under other. Would anybody want any of these held out for discussion? Hearing none, I will move items 1 through 3. Number 1 being board meetings, which reads that the Board of School Directors approves the administration's recommendation to adopt the January 2015 through December 2015 meeting dates. Number 2, student agreement, which reads that the Board of School Directors approves the administration recommendation to approve the resolution and agreement for student number 002364. And number 3, which heading is Allegheny County School Health Insurance Consortium trustee position for the Southeastern region, which reads, the Board of School Directors nominates James R. Means, Jr. as a trustee for the Southeastern region for the Allegheny County School Health Insurance Consortium for a 2-year period effective March of 2014.
Second.
Items 1 through 3 under other have been moved by Mr. Amadis and seconded by Dr. Campbell. Any questions or comments on these items? All in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? Those items carry 9-0. Public comments on anything you wish to address the board on. Wow, quiet group tonight, huh? Board comments. Oh, which end am I at? Mrs. Dovis.
I just would like to thank the PTO and the PTA for all of the work that you do, the fundraisers and all the wonderful programs that you put on to enhance the education. That was a magnificent list. Thank you.
Mr. Means.
As usual, I'd like to congratulate the students mentioned in the presentation for their achievements. And I would also like to say it was a real pleasure to get that favorable report from Cipher and Cipher.
Mrs. Buckley.
Thank you, Mrs. Cook. There's several things I'd like to mention tonight. First of all, I'd like to thank all the folks involved with the Great Alumni Hall of Fame that was held on January 31st. That was a very nice evening. I would like to thank Mrs. Lori Sutton for the DART information night that she presented on February the 12th. The packet was provided for every parent there. A lot of good information, and it was a very well-received meeting with the families involved. So thank you, Mrs. Sutton, for those efforts. The spelling bee, I agree. It was a great evening. I was nervous in the audience listening to those kids spell. I mean, the pressure, but they enjoyed it. And one little boy I noticed in particular, no matter who was in front of him, he clapped for that child as they walked off the stage, which just touched my heart. But the kids all worked hard, so they were all definitely winners. We had a Pathfinder School Board meeting last week, and we're moving there. And then also the hockey information that was shared on the screen tonight that Mrs. Graney sponsors with the children from the adaptive phys ed classes and Bethel Park hockey team. What a great situation for all of the kids. So I especially enjoyed being there. And also, I'd like to proudly say that Mr. Wida has been a part of my board book for a long time. I carry his picture in my book because I respect him as an individual. I was blessed to have both of his kids in my kindergarten class, and he and his wife are wonderful parents, and he is truly missed, but his legacy lives on. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Spicuzza.
Sure, after that, right? I'm going to take the easy way out tonight. I'm going to congratulate everyone that was recognized tonight because there are just too many, the PTA, PTSO, Sue Means for recognizing Mr. Rose. I think that was tremendous, well-deserved. Student government, the teachers, the students, everyone. Thank you very much for your efforts. Continue it, and you'll make a very happy board.
Thank you. Mrs. Rule.
I am always happy to see all the recognition that we're giving out here in the school. I just wish we would publicize more of it, at least out in other areas. They don't seem to know about it. But I would like to say that with the Steel Center, we're starting to work on more meaningful types of internships. We're going to be looking for them in various communities as we approach the second half now of the year. The Allegheny Intermediate Unit is also working to keep their costs down, and they have also notified us of a few opportunities that came about too, so we're keeping in the loop there. Everybody's busy already, beginning February. And the other thing I would like to say is, because I sit on the vocational board, I attended a meeting this afternoon, the Allegheny Conference, and I was one of 12 directors for chambers from Western Pennsylvania who were meeting with them to talk about what the priorities should be for the whole tri-county, tri-state area. And they will have ongoing meetings from now till June. But it was really interesting because at the end we had to vote on what we saw as priorities from a business standpoint. And the number one topic was transportation, that there's no way easy to get around, the tri-state area, and all the communities were too separated in terms of transportation for workers. The other thing is that the second thing on the list is workforce training and entrepreneurism. That just escalated to the very top. We have so many jobs available in this area. I mean, at one point, 42,000. We don't have people to fill them. There's something wrong there. But I think that what they were saying is education, and of course I got on my little bit defensive mode when they brought that up, but they're saying education is not preparing the students. And then we talked about, well, how much is placed on education from the Department of Education and time constraints, what they must cover in a day and how much room we have to work within our curriculum time. But they are insisting that you've got to get, if we want our students to have jobs when they leave school, high school, college, whatever, they need to be looking at the trends. There is so much work here in our area and good paying jobs. The majority of them, though, right now do not require a four-year college education. They require advanced training, but we have got to get our students in the middle school looking at all different types of avenue. Not everyone has been geared toward college, and there should be shown the different alternatives that are out there, because right now that's where the high-paying jobs are, and they will be. And they figure by 2020 we're going to be looking at such a shortage that some companies may be leaving because they can't get the workers. So we as an educational institution need to look at how are we going to help the businesses survive in our economy, because we're very fortunate. We are in the top 10 cities in the country that survived this recession as well. I mean, we have the lowest unemployment since World War II, they said, right here in our area. So we have really been fortunate. But in order to maintain that status and keep our economic, recovery going, we've got to be ready to get our workforce ready. And it's the students that are coming out of the school. So we have to find some way to meet those needs.
Thank you. Mr. Schubel.
Thank you. Just want to thank all the groups in attendance tonight, our PTO folks, our veterans, and all our student awardees. Just to echo the comments of my colleagues, thank you very much for your service and all the wonderful support you provide. Also want to comment on a couple of unsung heroes during our school year. Our groundskeepers and maintenance guys have done a wonderful job in a very challenging winter environment. I just wanted to point that out right into you and your group. And also, Mrs. Rose and Vicki for managing perhaps the most difficult call in public education, to hold school, to not have school, to delay school. I think you've done a wonderful job, both of you, and I just wanted to thank you. That's a very difficult call, as we all know.
It is the hardest job of a superintendent, trust me.
So thank you.
Mrs. Rose, for the record, what time do you get up in the morning on snow days?
On snow days, I'm up at about 4:10. But I have to say that Mr. Zeiler, our Director of Transportation, is on the road at 4:10 because he's the one that calls me, so hats off to him as well.
Well, if you don't know, it's Mrs. Rose's call, and the voice of Bethel Park, Mrs. Floyd herself, who does a wonderful job. So thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Campbell.
I want to thank also the many folks who were really awarded and their praises lauded tonight. It seemed like it was a nice bulk of the meeting, and it's nice to hear that because so much volunteerism really takes place here in Bethel Park, and that is so cool. That is really neat. If I want to point out one thing, though, a special, as Nancy Rose would always say, a special warm place in her heart, and she goes like this, to her heart. But the PTO, the student government, you guys are awesome. Hello, student government, you guys are awesome. I have a special part in my heart, place in my heart for Guatemala, and you touch people's lives in more ways than you ever think you do. You sow seeds you don't even know you're sowing. To make a difference in one person's life like that. Profound implications. Profound implications. We heard tonight from our board, to our board and to the community from Cypher and Cypher, as far as like our status and how we're doing fiscally. And it's very reassuring to hear tonight what has been shared with us. We heard tonight that there's a good chance by the year 2025 that perhaps half the school districts in Pennsylvania might have to consolidate. That's kind of ominous, but Bethel Park School District, we're very sound. We have a strong fund balance, and we did see that over the last really 5-6 years that we had that stability that they tend to look for, the accountants and what we have. So I'm pleased to know that we've got a firm foundation. We've got a real good foundation which to build upon. You'll notice that $56 million of our budget came from local venues, local taxes. That's pretty substantial. I believe the 1949 school code requires that be 50-50 shared with the state. It doesn't happen. Did you see perchance what our federal contribution was? $300,000. That's less than 1/2 of 1%. And you wonder, what dancing do we have to do for that funding as well? It makes you wonder. But as a district, we certainly are going to have great challenges ahead. We've heard that we're underfunded for PSERS from the state. We heard that we're underfunded also for, it's going to escalate rather logarithmically in the near future as far as health care costs. But we were told tonight is to expect $3 million annually for the next 5 years that we're going to have to find to be able to make the school district work, to make it continue to deliver the quality of education, that we really expect of Bethel Park. So there are great challenges. It's going to be incredibly daunting, but we will do it. We've always done that, and we're going to continue to do it. Sometimes it's some hard choices. Sometimes it's a little belt tightening. And for a guy my size, that's somewhat difficult, but it needs to be done. But we're going to go forward, and we'll kind of serve our community as best as a board as we possibly can, because we love Bethel Park. We love our students. We love our district. We want the best for us. Feels like a Hallmark moment, I know.
Thank you, sir. Mr. Amidits.
Just want to add one other point to the discussion about the auditor is that if you recall, they said that there's so much constraints being put on us and there's so much stresses that we have to worry about as a district, which is true, but a figure that he didn't give tonight that is even with that, because of the administration and the way they're presenting to us and cutting back, we are able to keep the local share decreasing the past few years. So that's something that's really important. And when he presented that to us, our auditor presented that to us, I think that's an important figure that the public needs to hear. So we need to keep that in mind. And lastly, it's just very difficult going last, but I will say that it's obvious that our district is so strong based on 45 minutes or so of presentations and awards that we're talking about for our community. And that's one of the great things about living here.
That's all I have to say.
Thank you. Mrs. Rose, you were going to make an announcement?
Yes, well, first of all, I too want to acknowledge Mrs. Flota for the extraordinary job that she does in our district, for creating the happy news reports, the great news reports that we get on our students on a monthly basis, of informing our community of all the events that are going on such a regular basis, and getting up with me at 4 o'clock in the morning to make sure our students know whether to be at those bus stops on time or not. So, Vicki, thank you. You're always behind the scenes working so hard and rarely get any acknowledgement while you're always promoting the accolades for everyone else. So thank you very much for that. I'd also like to invite the public to a very important meeting tomorrow night at 7 p.m. at Independence Middle School. For those of you who get the news blast that Mrs. Flota puts out, the meeting is being hosted by the Bethel Park Police and the school district, and will be a forum for discussion about some threats to our community specific to substance abuse and other threats to our young people and to our community at large. A lot of the things that you've been reading in the newspaper, our police department and our school district has always felt very strongly about addressing those things head on and not sweeping them under the carpet. So parents, I urge you to attend that meeting. Thank you.
When Cipher and Cipher gave that report, if you saw where they showed the balances in the district, there was one negative when we were $2 million in the hole. That's when I came on the board. And my sincere thanks goes to everyone, because it has taken everyone, not just the 9-member board, but everyone, doing what they do each and every day to the utmost ability that has kept us, that brought us up and then kept us stable, as you could see those other lines being stable across. I'd like to help with the 22. Here's my donation for my bracelet. You can bring it to me next meeting. I did want to let the public know that when we donate books, we do so as a board. We do not use taxpayer dollars or district dollars. This is a board donation from the 9 members of the board when you see us make the various donations. I hope the sun shines soon and that spring is just around the corner. I need a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Good night, everyone. Thank you.